Well, hello out there. Hello and happy Tuesday. Good afternoon to all of you. Thank you for joining me. If it's noon on Tuesday, it's time for Thinking Tuesday. Thinking Tuesday. I'm so excited to be here with you again to share another message to help you think through what you are doing. And last week, if you remember, we talked about our dreams. So we're going to be talking about that again today. We're going to follow up on that today. But this is the time for those of you who are joining for the first time. This is a time when we set aside some time to check up on our thinking, to see where our thoughts are taking us or where they have taken us. Are they serving us well? These thoughts of ours, these thoughts that we create, are they keeping us stuck? Are they advancing us to the life that we aspire and to become who we aspire to be? We develop these thoughts. We create these thoughts. Let them work for us. Let them work for you. They are solely your creation. Yes, some of them might have been determined by past trauma, by past unhappiness, by events that you were not proud of. It doesn't really matter. Those thoughts can be changed. We can have thoughts, we can try them on, see how they fit. If they're not serving us well, let's get rid of them. Let's get rid of them. Just celebrate the fact that you are totally in control of what you think. That's such a gift that we all have. So we need to use it and use it well. Use it for our benefit and for the benefit of others. So here on Thinking Tuesday, our motto is your mind is a garden. Your thoughts are the seeds. And you, yes, you can grow flowers or you can grow weeds. And so, what do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? Because thoughts become things. Whatever we think, we can bring to fruition. If we think positive thoughts about ourselves, if we think about ourselves with confidence and in a positive way, we can become that person if we're not already. But if we do the opposite and we let past experiences or people who don't have our best interest at heart, if we allow those messages that we get from them to feed our thoughts, if we accept those messages as who we are, then we're not acting in our best interest. So make sure that your thoughts are your thoughts. They're not being imposed on you by someone else. You decide what you're going to plant in your mind's garden. You decide what you're going to cultivate in your mind. And on Thinking Tuesday, we encourage you to cultivate a positive mindset. Positive about the life you want to live, who you are, who you aspire to be. So you are totally in control because thoughts become things. So be careful. Be very careful about what thoughts you entertain because there are consequences to our thoughts. They're good consequences and they're not so good consequences. So you are the gardener of your mind's garden. So cultivate those thoughts that will make you successful, that would help you to build that life that you dreamed of. And so thinking about dreams again, as I mentioned dreams, I want to continue to speak about dreams, how to develop a framework to attain your dreams, which I began last week. Last week, I asked you to think about who owns your dreams, because some of us are living someone else's dreams, and you know how that makes you feel. I gave you a list, a comparative list of how you feel when it is your dream as opposed to how you feel when it's someone else's dream. You don't have the energy. You don't feel the fulfillment when it's not your dream. When you're living someone else's dream, it will feel like a burden to you rather than energizing you and giving you a reason to wake up in the morning. So think about who owns your dream. Are you living or developing a dream that is not yours? Because that often happens. Because we tend to defer to people that we admire, people who have certain expectations of us. And many times we find that we're living a life, we're living a dream that's really not ours, it's someone else's. And it doesn't mean that someone else cannot share with us ideas that aspires us to dream in a certain way, but make sure that dream is yours. It might start with an idea from someone else, but you have to be the main dreamer. You have to own that dream. So I ask you to really think about that last week, and also to develop some I am statements, some statements that will move you in a positive direction. Because many of our dreams are imposed upon us for a lot of reasons, and we end up not liking the results. So that's why they created a U-turn, because we can always make a U-turn and change that dream that we've been pursuing that's not fulfilling us. We find sometimes that we end up in a career, for instance, because we're living someone else's dream. Person might have good intentions, but if it's not your dream, you're not going to really enjoy it. So I hope you spent some time last week examining the dream that you're pursuing to determine if it's your dream or someone else's dream. The answer should be a resounding yes, that the dream that you're pursuing is your dream. If not, like I said, that's why we have U-turns. As soon as you become aware that you're not pursuing or living your dream, you have the ability and the responsibility to change it, to make a change. You don't have to stay with it. We have choices. So the question that I have for you today is, if you've determined that the dream is yours, do you have a clear vision of what that dream is? Because that's another very, very important question. Do you have a clear dream, a clear vision, a clear picture of what that dream is? Because with no clear vision, it is difficult, if not impossible, to develop a strategy. And what do I mean by having a clear dream, a clear vision? Because a dream often begins as a general idea. You might have a fleeting thought, a general idea of something you would like to do, but it cannot remain a general idea, because you have to give it legs. You have to give it legs. With no clear vision, it's impossible to develop a strategy. So we have to develop goals. It starts with a general idea, but we have to be more specific in terms of what we're looking for, what it is that we want to achieve. It cannot remain a general idea, because then it has no movement, there's no action. The initial general idea has to become more specific You know, many times you hear I can think of someone who for years has been saying, I'm going to get that sports car. It's a general idea. What kind of sports car? What are you going to do to get that sports car? You know, what specific steps are you going to uh, take to get that sports car? So these general ideas are good at the beginning because that's where the dream starts. For example, if your dream begins with a general idea, let's say, I want to lose weight, which is one that a lot of us go to. The specific goal should be, I will weigh, let's say, 165 pounds by July 1st. So make it specific, because the general idea of I want to lose weight remains just a general idea. Another example is a general idea would be, I need to treat my employees better. Let's say if you own a business. Well, that's a nice thought. It's a general idea. But to be specific and to give you clarity, you might say, I will honor someone at every staff meeting on Tuesday. Let's say that's more specific. A lot of times we hear people say that their dream is, I'm going to get out of debt. Oh, who would not want to get out of debt? You know, debt is a burden. But then, I want to get out of debt is just a general idea. So to give you clarity, to give you more specific, to make that more specific and more achievable, you might say, I will pay off my credit card balance by December 31st. Now, doesn't that sound like something that can be more actionable? You can take steps towards that. You have a deadline and you have a specific way in which you're going to pursue that. You will pay off your credit card balance by. Or you might say, I want to improve my relationship with my child. And who doesn't want to have a good relationship with their children? You know? But that in itself is not going to help you to get clarity in how you want to do that. So you might say, I will spend every Saturday afternoon perhaps doing a fun activity with my child. So that's more specific. So we need to have a clear vision. Just like I'm wearing glasses. Sometimes they get foggy, you know. So what do? Do I keep peering through a pair of glasses and I can't see what's before me very well? No, I'm going to take them off and I'm going to clean them so that when I put them back on, oh, my vision is clear. I'm seeing things that I hadn't seen before. So that's the same way in which we have to pursue our dreams. Because as we become more specific, as we become clearer, as we get more clarity about what we want to achieve, the plan becomes clearer. And we can make adjustments as we go forward. We can develop a strategy when we have more clarity about what it is that we want to achieve. Sounds good? Works for me. So writing out what we want to achieve and the steps that we want to take to achieve it is also very helpful in clarifying your vision for your dream. Seeing it on paper, seeing it on your computer, wherever it is that you want to write it, is going to further encode that into your mind so that you know what that is going to look like, what steps you're going to take. Set aside some time. Set aside some time to focus on what you want to achieve, and not just that you want to achieve, but what it is that you want to achieve. What is it going to look like when it's achieved? Because you need to be able to recognize this when it's fulfilled, right? When you attain it. All right. You don't want your dream to pass you by and you don't even recognize it, but spend some time thinking specifically about what it is that you want to attain. What does your dream look like? Ask yourself some questions. Ask yourself some questions that's going to prompt you to design the kind of dream that you want and to help you recognize it. Recognize it when you achieve it. Because dreaming is fun, right? We use all of our imagination. At least we should use all of our imagination, but it takes work. It takes work. It takes a lot of inner work to bring this dream to fruition. And if you remember last week, I talked about how we have to pay attention to our dream, how we have to cultivate our dream, how we have to be sensitive to our dream. It's something that we're birthing, you know. So just like we take care of the baby in the womb, the fetus in the womb, and then the infant when it's first born, that's the way we have to approach our dream. It's something special. It's something that can be very fragile, because if we don't feed it, it will die. It will die. So think about what it is like, or what it would be like. How would you feel when you attain your dream? Develop that feeling about that dream, what it's going to look like. Who are you going to share it with? Make it come alive. Are you going to share it with your family, with your friends, your coworkers? What is that dream, and who will you share it with? Give it some legs. What would it look like? What would it look like? What will you feel like? Think about the resources and the experiences that you have to help to bring your dream to fruition. Dig deep and look at what can you bring to this experience to make your dream attainable. And then what sacrifices are you willing to make also? When you think about that, it gives you more clarity about how are you going to pursue the dreams? What are you going to give up? What are you going to prioritize? Because there's some things that you have to take off your plate that you will not, that will take your focus off your dream. So what sacrifices are you willing to make to get clarity to attain your dream? Put your imagination to the test, so to speak. Put it to work. This is your creation. This is the fun part. Visualize your dreams as big. Dream big. Dream big. You know, you can always adjust as you go, but dream big. This is your dream. This is your creation. Use your imagination, because the clearer the vision of your dream, the more likely you are to attain it. So this is what I want to leave you with this week in terms of building a framework to attain your dreams, because it starts with a general idea. Make sure it's your idea. Make sure you're not dreaming someone else's dream. But then when you are sure of that, then what can you do to clarify your dreams, to make it yours, to give yourself a better vision of what it is that you want to accomplish? And as you do that, it becomes more specific. You have a better chance of developing strategies to attain that dream. It's your dream. You start to feel passionate about it. There's nothing more exhilarating, at least for me, when I'm in a creative mood and I can visualize what it is that I'm working towards, and how things begin to open ideas as you start to think. Ideas begin to come to you because you're not open. You're not open to receiving whatever it is that you need to make that dream come true. So I hope that this has added value to you. Dream big. Share this with someone else who you feel could benefit from it, because all of us dream. Unfortunately, some feel that dreams are for other people, but dreams are for you. So share this with someone else who can benefit from it. And as I usually remind you, all of my previous Thinking Tuesday messages are hosted on my YouTube channel. That's Thinking Tuesday, Cheryl Burton. Share that with someone else. Go back and see the replays, something that you might have missed. Also, I invite you to reach out to me through my website for a confidential, complimentary consultation with 3 C's. If you have a dream that you are trying to build, but you're running into some roadblocks, you're doubting whether or not you can attain that dream, you're doubting whether or not you're worthy of that dream, whatever it is, you're trying to develop the steps to attain that dream. If it occurred to you, that means it's possible for you to bring it to fruition. So you can reach out to me for that or any other issues that you might want a consultation on. Reach out to me through my website, drcherylburton.com, and I will be happy to serve as your thinking partner to help you get beyond those obstacles that you're facing. You may also book me to speak through my website. Again, that's drcherylburton.com. And I look forward to meeting with you here again next Tuesday at noon for another message on Thinking Tuesday. And I'm going to stick with the theme of the framework to attaining your dreams for another couple of weeks. And then we might move on to something else. But for now, take care, dream big, make sure it's your dream, and visualize what it is that you want to achieve. Make sure that you have clarity because you are the creator of your dreams. Take care, and I'll see you next Tuesday at noon for Thinking Tuesday. Bye for now. Take care. Bye.